Out of the 8 billion podcasts that claim to talk about sports, 99% of them talk football and basketball. And that's about it. That's because they don't know about anything else. And they bore you to tears. Welcome to the Sportsocracy, the Ocho, where sports meets comedy, sports analysis, laughs, and the occasional debate that'll likely blow the roof off. We're rowdy and loud and bringing the party straight to your ears.
The party has arrived.
And by the way, you don't have to be a sports fan to like this show, because we're pretty damned awesome, even when we're not talking sports. From baseball to hockey to wrestling to the UFC and beyond, we love it, and we're talking about it. And now your hosts, Armchair, hailing from Canada. He's a sports encyclopedia. And Dubs, the quintessential masshole who's always down for some lively banter and a little bit of the green stuff. And we're not talking about the outfield grass. Let's rock this. This is the Sportsocracy, the Ocho.
Hey, what's up, friends?
How goes it?
It's Dubs. It's Armchair. We're back. It's another week. Boy, it was a busy week in sports. We've got Olympics going on. Major League Baseball had its trade deadline. And before we get into any of that, I just want to give absolute sincere shout out to mosquitoes. You can fuck right off. I have never hated something more. Most bugs I can deal with. I can deal with spiders. I can deal with other like bullshit, creepy crawlies. I can deal with birds and animals and all that. Mosquitoes can die. Mosquitoes can die. They bite you and you're itchy forever. It's just you're itchy now. You exist itchy.
I went on a trip last year to Saco River up in Maine. We were doing just like camping trip. It's a good time. We did it the year before. Figured we'd go back and run the same trip back. Was not the case. It was right after a whole bunch of flooding, and it was just mosquito breeding ground. Armchair, when I tell you there were billions of mosquitoes, I'm not exaggerating in the slightest. You know those electric rackets?
Yeah.
You could just wave your hand like this, and it was just it sounded like you were cooking bacon. It was crazy. I've never seen so many. It was just like uninhabitable.
They're the worst things on earth. We went for a walk, and it's in the woods a little bit. It was fine. We walked in, and the second we walked into the woods, it was like attacked. I had my bug spray on. I was bug sprayed up. They were like, nah, don't care. Try harder. Be
We
better.
had, dude,
Get
all
good.
the citronella, all the fucking, that shit don't work, by the way.
Mosquitoes 1v1 me. That's what the mosquitoes were saying.
Literally.
I did get one. It was like that had just feasted on me, which left like an amazing, like my daughter was like, why is there blood on your ankle? Well, I got that mosquito. It was the fastest walk.
Sometimes we have to do what we have to do.
I don't
The quicker
condone,
we learn that, the better.
I don't condone murder, but if anybody wants to kill a mosquito, 100% got
do
your
it.
back. It was a good week, man. You've been watching some Olympics. You've been watching a little bit of.
I wish I got to see more. The fact that it's in Paris is really
First
fucking
thing
with
in the
my
morning.
vibe.
First thing in the morning.
It's first thing in the morning, and it's just like the work day. The Olympics are on while you're at work.
Yeah, 100%.
There's
no,
also
like,
they fucking copyright strike anybody who has a shred of a video of anything. So it's hard to sometimes it's hard to find shit where you're like, well, it's okay. I know this guy won a medal. I'd like to see him win the medal.
Yeah.
And their YouTube's been fucking slacking. So I don't know. I'm not super happy with what Peacock? Really? What are we doing?
We have CBC over there covering it, and they're covering it like wall to wall for the Canadians.
Great.
Which is like, it's good. It's not great. It's good. The problem is they will show me like they force fed me Nadal Djokovic, which was like fine. I get it. There's like their marquee guys. They're like 37 and 38 years old, and Djokovic was like dog walking Nadal at the time. Like he had not been playing well. Meanwhile, there's like a whole ass medal going on, like a whole like there's a final going on. I'm like, why aren't we watching the final where there's like actually a vested interest? I think a Canadian won silver on it or something, and they were like, we'll show you that later. Anyway, here's Joker and
Don't worry
Nadal.
about that. We'll
Like,
talk about the medals later.
you get what you get. That's it. That's it.
It's also on like I have Hulu is how I get my cable. I just have Hulu TV. And the channels are never right. They're like, oh, this is what's on. It's never what's on. It's never what's on. They've been so fucking bad with that. But I have been watching some. I went to the casino on Saturday with some friends for a friend's birthday. Fantastic time made out. But while we were hanging out in the hotel beforehand, everyone's getting ready to go and whatnot. We were watching some Olympics. We were watching some fencing. That's a wild sport. I don't understand how the scoring works. I thought it was just like you get them, like whoever gets them first, and it's really fast paced. And it's not. They reset all the fucking time. It's constantly. Did you see that pregnant lady fencing? That's pretty Ocho.
Yeah, pregnant lady fencing.
That's pregnant.
There was a couple of like OG, almost early bird special qualifiers who were making their debut as Olympians. Pretty sure someone sent like a 58-year-old to play ping pong for their country, which is like that's a pretty OG move. That's a pretty Ocho move.
Yeah. Did you see the turkey? They sent the guy for shooting, and he's just wearing a fucking t-shirt.
I will say this.
Did Turkey send a hitman? South Korea's got some cyberpunk looking gear going on, and then this dude from Turkey's just out there, and he could have been in a wife beater and sweatpants. That was the Olympic equivalent to what he was wearing.
He's like, no, I brought my own gear. It's no big deal.
Yeah, don't worry. I don't want to wear that. I don't need that. He medaled too, didn't he?
Yeah, I think so. Out of pocket question: how did America not finish first in shooting?
I can tell you what. That was a calculated move. We're like, see, we're not that good. They're the gun guys. That's not us.
Guns? Wait, I never. What
Dead
is
last.
this?
Dead last. We didn't have anything to do with the medal and the shooting.
They probably could have. They probably could have done better with that.
I saw some horribly dark jokes on various platforms about that I will not repeat on the show. But
no, we don't need to go there. It's pretty bad. I had an interesting conversation about judged sports. One of my coworkers said that sports that are judged shouldn't be in the Olympics, period. And I thought that was a spicy take.
It is
because there are
there's
some,
a lot.
There's a lot of he's like
gymnastics is judged. He goes,
yeah, but you can gymnastics is my argument against gymnastics.
Simone Biles is crazy, by the way.
Shout out to the real GOAT. Let's be honest.
That's ridiculous.
So I know that we love our Brady.
Having her and Katie Ledecky in the same Olympics, the same team,
Michael Phelps has won so many medals, and Simone Biles puts him to shame. She is unbelievable.
It's crazy.
She might be the most Ocho athlete ever. She just wins everything. She's 3 feet tall. Every one of those gymnasts. I was telling this to Brianna when I was watching downstairs. I was like, every one of those gymnasts, when they're just standing on the mat, you're like, oh, it's a regular sized human. And then they go literally right beside their coach, and you're like, never mind.
Whoa.
Never mind. Polly Pockets.
Itty bitty.
Same with the men. Polly Pockets.
Yep.
They're itty bitties. I did see.
Although that Frederick dude for the U.S. dude was fucking yoked.
Yeah. What do you? How do you feel about professional athletes competing in the Olympics?
What do you mean? For what sport?
We got
just
basketball.
In general.
So we got. I don't mind the swimmers and the runners who do Diamond League and they compete in their swimming.
Right.
That's what they do. I get it. And there's college championships, but LeBron James at the Olympics just kind of seems bro. Really? And you're telling me that the USA couldn't field a team of basketball players that aren't And
No, we could, but here's the thing: that it was like that where we were
that was
super
amateurs.
overpowered, right?
Yeah.
No, but like I'm
It
saying,
flipped, yeah.
right now everyone's catching up. Where there are teams
Shout
that
out
are
Canada.
legitimately fucking good. Canada's fantastic.
We got
They're right.
Shea.
They're probably the second best team.
We got
out
Dylan,
there.
Villain, Dylan the villain.
I mean, how many of the top 5 guys in the NBA are foreign guys at this point? Like,
Not everyone,
they're catching
not everyone,
up.
but a lot of them. A lot of them.
Fucking 08, like that area, it was like, all right, what are we doing? They're like, we're the redeem team. No, you're the heavy favorite in every single game.
I just want to see. I want to see more competition. That's all. Everybody's catching up. This is the same thing. I feel the same way about hockey. Hockey, it's like it's 3 countries. Let's be honest.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, we started getting more of the Czechias coming on strong. In women's hockey, it was always just 2 countries. It was just us and you. That was it. It's like, which one of the Americans or Canadians will win gold? It's like, well, that's not really what I want to see. This is also why baseball got ripped out of there. They were like, it's just Americans and Dominicans all over the place. And it's like, well, come on, give it to us. Let's have some fun. Japan won. So I don't know. I would love to see it. I would love to see more.
I also
people
think like
there.
Soccer is U20, right? Because like they already have the World Cup, which is basically the Olympics for soccer.
Yeah.
Like all the best people represent their countries. So I like for soccer, I kind of like the fact that you get to see like it's different. You see like prospects, people that are on FC Barcelona, you're not going to see play for 3 years because they're loaned out to some team in fucking Wales. That's cool. I just think basketball's at a point now where like the U.S. we have to win, and if we're not sending top NBA guys, we're gonna fucking lose.
If the U.S. loses basketball, is it a loss? Like, is that? Oh, we won't stop using drones. No way. Hey, Tao, used drones, got punished 6 points. Still in the playoffs, baby. Hate us because they ain't us. Didn't even need the drones. Didn't even need them. Fired the coach. Didn't even need her. Canada's women's soccer team, of course, getting punished 6 points, which in soccer is enormous when you're only playing 3-4 games.
They're
4
like
games in the group
participating.
They're like four games in your group stage before moving on to the quarters, and
they DQ'd you without DQing you.
And they were like, "You lose 6 points. Good luck." And then Canada said, "Hold my maple syrup, amigo," and came on and won every one of those games.
With
and
a
is
cowboy hat.
Yeah.
Amigo, cowboy hat, maple syrup.
Yeah. They're all from Alberta. They just they got punished, rightfully so. I do find it hilarious whenever like someone gets caught cheating, how all of a sudden everybody is like, do you remember like the Tour de France when they were like, Lance Armstrong is cheating, and then he's like, everybody's cheating, and they're like, yeah, but Lance is, and they were like, right, but like 800 people trying to participate, 750 have used some sort of doping.
If we DQ Lance, we have to DQ half the field.
But then they didn't. They were like, they went after Lance. That was a fantastic documentary and insight into his like mind, by the way.
I haven't watched it yet. I plan on it though.
It's a good time. He is.
I saw it
arrogant.
Advertised before it came out, and I was
he is arrogant and unapologetic and would absolutely do it again. But I appreciate that he admits that he did was wrong, and he was like, but yeah, everybody was doing it. So like, what would you want me to do? Lose?
Right. Oh, what are we losing? Fucking Armstrong.
What are we, losers now? So yeah, I want to see more of that. I'd love to see the Russians back at the Olympics. I know their country's kind of doing some shitty shit, but you know, I don't think Olga, the shot putter, is really participating in that shit. She's just throwing things. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. It just feels like there's collateral damage here for things and people that are not necessarily there. Anyway,
speaking of judging things, like when you're talking about banning judged events, how the fuck did people score those horse events? Because I don't fucking get it. We were watching one of them at the hotel before the casino, and they were literally just like walking around. Yeah. It was like a dog show, but with a horse. And I was like, who's scoring this and how?
Yeah.
Like I don't understand.
What's the more Ocho sport? Steeplechase or the
breaking?
breaking or the walk, the like long distance walk marathons.
I think that's tomorrow, isn't it?
Yeah, I
Or
think so.
Sunday. Yeah, it's coming up.
We do that. In Tokyo they did it so that it was like the pool events were first, and then the track and field was like second half, which makes sense. You want to split those up because those are your two big draws for eyeballs. Like people want to see like the big pool events, and then they want to see like 100 meters.
Yeah, the pool races are fun. I watched. They're great.
You have Katie Ledecky, who is
doing a 1,500 meter. Dude, I was watching her go, and I was like, I would have drowned at the 3-minute mark.
It's
what the
unbelievable.
Fuck? And she barely kicks her legs.
They conserve all that energy. She won a gold medal with nobody in frame.
Nobody.
Like this shot.
She's now 37-0 in that event, like all time in her career.
Yeah, they didn't have it. They had it last year. Was their last Olympics? Was the first time it was an Olympic event.
And she beat her own time.
She's gonna crush it. We have Summer McIntosh, who won her 400 IM basically the same way, but shorter distance. She absolutely destroyed. And yeah, I think I'm curious to see what breaking.
Did you see that? I
don't know what's gonna happen.
Leon Marchand, whatever the fuck his name was for France, the comeback that he had during that was crazy.
He had gold goggles.
Yeah.
Manifest that shit. Shout out to the Olympians. I can't imagine the amount, like
none of the U.S. crashed the boat. They literally turned the wrong way.
It's like you were going to you were going to land on shore, and
it was wild. I couldn't believe it.
Fraggle Rock or whatever the hell you guys call it. Plymouth Rock.
I love Fraggle Rock. You know, Plymouth Rock is like fucking this big.
Yeah, it's not very big at all.
No, it's tiny.
It's tiny. Fraggle Rock is just a much better rock. Fraggle Rock is a superior rock. We'll put that out there. Anyway, shout out to the Olympians because holy hell.
It's so entertaining.
You have to, the amount of
shout out USA Women's Rugby.
Shout out USA Women's Water Polo.
Oh,
Flavor Flav.
You need to go and check your Twitter DM I sent you because now we're on the Olympics. You need to watch that and tell me if it's too much. This lady, I don't know what country she was from. I don't know her name, and I apologize for that. She's accomplished far more than I ever will. I'll get that out there first, but I think she's celebrating a little too much for a bronze medal.
It won't let me watch it.
Oh, it's crazy. She just like screaming and crying. It goes on for so long.
I will say this.
I understand you worked your entire life.
I was going to say, if you get to the Olympics and you finish 5th and you want to scream and shout and do all that, I think you deserve to do it. Fair. It's the one time where it's like, this isn't like the playoffs where it's like, hey, we finished 4th. Like, cool. Let's go celebrate. Like, no. Like, this is like it. For a lot of these people, it's every 4 years.
Right.
So a lot of people get one shot. And it's like the fact that you actually get to be one of the few people who gets to call themselves an Olympian. I think getting a medal, any medal of any color, you get to do whatever you want. I feel like you've earned that right.
Fair.
It's like the ultimate bat flip moment. You get to do that.
You get 2 minutes to do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah,
then you get 2 minutes on the mic to say whatever the fuck you want.
You can just rock it. You're allowed to say
that would be sick. They just interview every medal person. They just like give them an open mic, like say whatever you want. Oh, that'd be cool.
Just have at it. Just have at it. We had a trade deadline happen. Let's move into baseball here. And yes, we'll talk about Jackson Holliday's first career home run.
We're going to talk about F1 too.
We got a little bit of F1 coming up. Trade deadline was kooky dukes.
There wasn't any massive splashes, though, really. There was not like other than Jazz, maybe.
Is he a big splash?
No, not really, but he's like a cover athlete for MLB. I don't treat him that way, but like he played in Miami, and I feel like they tried to market him as like a superstar, and he's just not.
He's fun. He was fun.
Right.
In Miami, he was fun. So there were a couple of big takeaways for me. Pitchers cost a lot of money.
Sure
like the
do.
cost on pitchers.
That's why all the big
was
guys didn't
insane.
go.
Well, then, so let's talk. Let's talk about the White Sox for a minute. They had the biggest piece of the puzzle. Biggest piece of the puzzle. Could have got a king's ransom for it.
Yep.
And opted to keep him. And I don't know if the ask was not high enough.
I heard
I
it
don't
was
know
because of the contract. He wanted a new contract.
He wanted an extension.
Yes. And that was what turned all, because it came so late, that turned all the other teams off. And then they wanted too much for him with that looming, and they just backed out. But it's not really looming because he's still under control until 26.
You got a full year.
I don't.
to talk about that.
I feel like you would have got maximum value right now, and now holding off to the offseason, which is probably what they're going to do now with him and Luis, because what else are you going to do? The team's in fucking shambles. You just got rid of everything else around them too. They're like literally just standing on rubble.
They have no like future prospects right now that make you say, oh yeah, they can. So like, I look at other teams that were sellers, and I say, okay, I can see how they can turn it around in a couple of years. They didn't hold it. They didn't keep anything that made me go, oh, they definitely are turning it around.
No. And they didn't give up the biggest ticket items that they had to get in those things where you're like, okay, well, at least we got some prospects. We're obviously going to be drafting high. They didn't do that. They sold all of their mediocre pieces, and then they kept the true gems for what?
Yeah, I don't know.
To get last in the fucking Central for the next 5 to 10 years?
They're not getting first, I'll tell you that much.
Definitely not. Cleveland's getting better. The Royals are getting better.
Cleveland is definitely getting better. I mean, the White Sox, I guess, moved Paul DeYoung.
And Eloy.
That doesn't excite me.
Yay.
It doesn't excite me at all.
That's really going to get you some building blocks.
Red Sox got yourselves Luis Garcia?
Yes, and Lucas Sims. I'm excited about both of them. Those are going to fill in real nicely in the bullpen. We've got people coming back from injury.
It'll be all right.
Well, we're going to be all right. Hopefully those bullpen additions hold us over until we get some people back, and then we'll be cooking, rolling into playoff time. We also got Big Maple back.
Love Big Maple.
He wasn't gone very long, but we got him back. Luis Garcia is also he was teammates with Andrew Bailey, and Andrew Bailey's been his pitching coach before.
So that's great.
Yeah, that's a nice little puzzle piece fitting together there for us. I loved our deadline. Like, we didn't do anything crazy. The only thing, Nick York was a big prospect for us. We got rid of him for Quinn Priester, which is, I love that. We can get into him in a second, but we got rid of all the guys that will go in the Rule 12 drafts.
Yeah.
And like, we're going to be just fine. I love it. We kept all the prospects I really wanted. We have a log jam at second base anyway, which is where York was going to end up playing.
That was my issue with the Jazz Chisholm trade for the Yankees.
Log jam?
Yeah, you're creating your own problem now.
Correct.
I don't.
And that was I think Craig Breslow had a fantastic first deadline. But yeah, the Yankees, they did a lot of buying.
Leiter Jr. is a solid pickup.
As always. Yeah. He's been good so far already.
They needed bullpen help. They needed pitching help. I don't know why
everybody does.
They needed a starting pitcher. They didn't get it. There wasn't enough in the cupboards to entice anyone to do that. And I'm sure they kicked the tires on Yusei Kikuchi. But I'm sure that the Blue Jays were not giving Yusei Kikuchi to a division rival.
No chance. They're like, I'll send him to the fucking Astros before I give him to you.
Well, let's talk about, so my team was very active.
Very.
And it was a rare W for a general manager who was
shout out Danny Jansen.
Danny Jansen is, so like, I don't know if you're familiar with him at all. He's the longest tenured Blue Jay, so he's been a thorn in your side.
I did not know that.
He is the longest tenured. Well, he was.
I know of him because of playing against him, but I'm not like super.
He is a defensive catcher first with power, and he pulls, which is going to play.
Fuck yeah, it will.
And that's where he did a ton of damage, and he always played well there. And I think that you guys did the right thing It's an upgrade over Reese by like
Sticky
a lot.
Reese got called out, and the Red Sox went, "What? Huh? I didn't know you did that. I'm gonna go get Danny Jansen now. I have an
They were
excuse."
We'd rather this Blue Jays catcher. He hasn't jerked off in the Dollar Tree parking lot. So
sorry, Sticky Reese.
Sorry, buddy. I don't know, man.
Find another parking lot.
There's
this
too
one
much
is full.
There's too many moves to cover for the Blue Jays. Way too many guys in. Love La Perfido from Houston. Love Bloss from Houston. Both those guys are instant impact. We traded Isaiah Kinner from Falefa for Chris McAdoo. McAdoo's a great last name, by the way. Capital A. MC capital A. Adu. Love that. He's a power hitter. 8 guys out for the Blue Jays. 13 prospects in. 13 prospects. And Ryan Yarbrough, of course. Who, shout out to Ryan Yarbrough, who was on the Dodgers, minding his own business. And then they were like, by the way, we're taking Kevin Kiermaier and you're going to Toronto. Good luck in the basement, sir.
Have fun.
Bye.
We'll remember you.
Like, poor guy. Not going to get his ring.
Welcome to Toronto. We were supposed to be where the Dodgers are.
It'll be a quick retool depending on how the offseason goes. Bo Bichette comes back healthy. Vladdy has been on a tear. No one's noticed because the Jays are awful, but Vladdy is on a tear right now.
Rafi had a walk-off double today. That was awesome.
Love that. Other big winner I thought was
Cardinals.
I thought the Mariners won. I thought the
Mariners did.
The Mariners won because they were losing their division.
Yeah, I was gonna say they had to make moves out of desperation because
but they made better moves than Houston because they didn't give away everything, and they were making buys and they made a couple of buys and then all of a sudden Houston was like, "Oh shit, we're doing this. We got to do this," and they're like, "Here's everything we got. Give us that guy." We're like the guy with the 4 ERA, and they're like, "Yeah, we'll take him.
We'll take him. We gotta grab somebody."
I love Kikuchi. He's I think he's a solid addition for them. People always look at the numbers instead of the overall body of work, and it's hard. You can't stack geek out on it.
And they're not going to be asking too much of him.
And he'll have run support,
right? Which he has not had with Toronto.
No, he has not. And good for Kevin Kiermaier. And Kiermaier announced he was retiring at the end of the season, so Jays gave him the.
Good. Another thorn in my side for a fucking decade.
Robbing
me of hits.
Oh, you hit that to center field? Like literally anywhere
in center field? You hit it to left, maybe right.
Left center?
Still no. Kevin Kiermaier.
No, he's there.
He was on the Rays. He just fucking murdered us.
He murdered everyone. He murdered everyone in that division. He was such a pain in the ass. Then he came to Toronto and he did well, and then he went to free agency and no one signed him in Toronto. It's like, here's $10.5 million. And I was like, that feels like an overpay for a guy who got no offers, but sure. I don't know.
He got the offer and went, holy shit, they're that dumb. They didn't even negotiate. They just sent it. It was just in the mail.
Just
sign this.
Yeah. Said nuts to that.
Blue envelope.
Yeah. It is pretty crazy. That was my biggest takeaway. My biggest takeaway is that pitching costs a lot of money. Padres
massive.
Bought.
So the Padres bought. They got Tanner Scott.
I like that move for the Padres. I'm worried that they're too little, too late. There's a lot of teams in that logjam, and they have to find a way through it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see how they do.
Them, Atlanta.
Atlanta's better.
Yeah, definitely.
Atlanta's a better team.
What about Arizona?
Arizona bought, but only out of necessity.
I
like the Snakes, but I don't know. I think that the Padres are better than. I think the Snakes are better than the Padres on talent, and I think that the Padres will beat them out. Losing your star first baseman hurts. And everybody loves a good Josh Bell redemption story, but not the same as Christian Walker.
No,
not the same.
Just not. They went, who can we get? The Marlins designated Josh Bell for assignment. I guess we can do that.
Yeah. It's pretty desperate.
So Scooble didn't go, Crochet didn't go, Snell didn't go, Mason Miller didn't go.
Snell would have cost a fortune. So Scooble would have been the most expensive guy.
100%.
Scooble would have been. I think that
I didn't really understand those rumors, to be honest. I never thought he was going to get traded. Crochet, I really did think was going.
I think Scooble would have been like legitimately a major league star, like already someone on the roster, and then every one of your 1 through 5 prospects.
Yeah.
Like your top 5. Like give me your 5 best guys and someone who's already like going he could be an all-star. Give me that guy. And then they'd be like,
ransom.
It would be stupid. It would be so stupid. But they had to.
I'm kind of shocked Mason Miller didn't go.
Yeah, a little bit. What about
Flaherty?
Flaherty?
Thought Crochet was going for a lot. I thought Mason Miller was going to go for a lot, and I thought those were going to be the 2 like big home runs.
Yeah,
and that was going to be it.
How do you feel about
Flaherty
deal?
I feel like the Dodgers are just so fucking beat up and hurt, and they're just grabbing every fucking name and body that they can go grab. I like Flaherty. He's played
the tires on him.
I know,
and they said no thanks because his injury risk was too high,
and he was bad last year for a while. Yeah, he's been great so far this year, but
sure, but like.
But knowing the Dodgers too, he'll get there and be a sub 2.5 ERA for the rest of the year, and he'll be fucking electric. That's just what they do.
I feel like he's going to get there and he'll be fine,
and then they'll choke.
He's going to get hurt. He's going to get hurt. He'll get hurt like 3 games in. He'll have 2 he'll pitch like the first game there. He's going to go like 7 1/3 with like 11 strikeouts, and they'd be like, "What a pickup!" And then the second game he'll do the same thing, and they'd be like, "This guy's amazing." And then the third game he's going to throw like 2/3 of an inning. He's going to like have to go for TJ, and he's going to be done for his career.
That does sound.
Like, never mind.
That does sound incredibly accurate.
It feels like the most Dodger thing ever, where they're like, "We picked this guy up because we're injured," and they're like, "I am also injured."
My friend Meach is an incredibly pessimistic Dodgers fan, and he hates everything that they do. I haven't got to talk to him about the deadline yet, but I can only imagine he hated it.
Losers for sure were the White Sox. I also think the Astros lost because they gave up too much for basically nothing. And the Athletics. What the hell are they doing?
Why are they keeping anybody? What are they doing?
Someone want to
what the fuck are they doing?
Someone want to explain to me what that was?
What happened? No answers, dude.
What happened?
Did they think it was next week? Did they think they had time?
They were all in like they were like, oh, our company retreat in Boca Raton was on. We missed it.
Nobody had phones on.
God, guys, we were in Boca. We didn't know.
Teams were like, we called. Nobody answered.
There's like a new intern.
It wasn't even like they declined the offer. They weren't there.
They just weren't.
I got voicemails.
They were not present at all. I don't know why you held on to anybody. You should have been stocking up your farm system for whatever is going to happen. But you're not playing there. What are you doing? Makes no damn sense.
Just open them up for injury.
They might be the loser.
You see Brent Rooker talking shit to that guy in the DMs. It was like, hey, you cost me a parlay.
My brother, I could not care less. That's the perfect reply.
Fantastic reply.
Do me a favor.
He was probably waiting to figure out where he got dealt to, and then he survived it, and he was like, God damn, I can talk shit to this guy.
Do me a favor. Don't DM players about your parlays or
so
fantasy
dumb.
sports.
You're so dumb.
They didn't cost you shit. You're the one that drafted them. Make better picks. Problem solved.
Picks, idiot. Mets added some.
Mets did add.
Nothing crazy. I like Jesse Winker.
Yeah. Are they in
Paul
though?
Blackburn. They think that they have a shot to get in.
There's a couple of teams that are like on the edge, and I'm like,
how far does the power of friendship take them?
I really like the Soler deal for the Braves. They needed some.
Another what are you doing is the Giants.
They don't know.
They thought they were gonna get Ohtani, and when they did it, they've just been spiraling.
They're like, I don't know.
The office has just been papers flying and people running for fucking 6 months.
Yeah, I mean, there are some teams that absolutely like. I've been watching the return on the Blue Jays for forever, but like there's not like a ton that like shocked me. I guess like none of these moves were like, oh,
right. That's what I was
wow.
trying to get at earlier. There was nothing that made me say wow.
No, there wasn't.
Even Jazz, like I was like, he's probably gonna go to the Yankees. Guess where he ended up.
He went to the Yankees to play a position that is already filled by a current Yankee player who they like, but that's okay. Whatever. I
didn't see Tao said that he didn't hear of him until he was on the cover. He must have. I couldn't imagine being like a baseball fan and just looking at it and being like, "Who the fuck is that guy?" I heard about him very briefly before he made the cover.
I heard of him before, but I
just threw him into the spotlight.
So you have to realize if you are a sports card person, you have heard of him before.
Fair.
Because you would have heard of him when he was a like super rookie in like Bowman, when he was still in the minor leagues trying to get his very expensive, very important. But yeah, that is how it went for him, that's amazing.
Who the fuck is that guy?
Who the fuck is that?
Who got better post deadline, Orioles or Yankees?
Orioles.
Agreed.
They called up Jackson Holiday, who immediately said, "I'm going to hit one out."
He said, "Remember April?" I don't.
I don't blame him. It was an awful time for him. And first off, he hit a grand slam. So I love that for him. I think that gets a huge weight off his shoulders. And now he can just kind of play free, because there had been so much pressure on that kid coming up and it wasn't going well. And then to finally hit a homer is amazing. And for it to be a grand slam on top of it is just kind of icing on the cake.
I didn't know they had a day game today, and I saw that he was minus 215 to get a hit. And I was like, I'm going to go be part of the Fade Jackson Holiday Club. And then realized the game had already started, and it was like the 5th inning. And I was like, fuck, all right, well, I am going to not be part of the Fade Jackson Holiday Club. And then like shortly after, he hit a grand slam. It's like, okay, good choice. I'm glad I didn't see that earlier, because I would have lost a significant amount of money.
I mean, it's best you didn't.
Normally I wouldn't do that. I only did it because I was so bad in April.
He was very bad in April. Fans are actually mad. Let's hear what Tao has to say. Fans are mad they traded Connor Norby. Him and Jackson played the same damn position, and they got a pitcher, which we sorely needed. Welcome to cheering for any sports team in the year of our Lord 2024. Literally everybody does this. It's kind of ridiculous. It is. I saw people doing the same thing for the Blue Jays, being like, why'd we get rid of that guy? And it's because we haven't won enough games to be in the playoff race, and he is not under control next year. So bye. It's kind of ridiculous. Welcome to modern sports fandom. Speaking of modern sports fandom, anything else on the trade deadline?
I think we just about covered it.
Before we get into our center fielders, you want to do some F1? A little bit of F1 news?
Yeah, let's do it.
We had some announcements. So first off, summer break. Last race before summer break happened. And it did not go the way that I was expecting. Not
at all. Lewis won.
Sorta. He didn't mean to. I had Lando winning this race. Lando ended up 4th overall. 5th. Well, he finished 5th, but George Russell finished 1st. George Russell's car was 1.5 kilos light, which means he got DQ'd. How you have a car 1.5 kilos light is beyond me. You could see the look on Toto's face. I think that someone ripped something out when they shouldn't have. The memes afterwards, Lewis leaving with 1.5 kilos of George's car after is hilarious. Lewis ends up being the benefactor of this because they went from a 1-2. There's 2 races in a row where we've had a 1-2 and drama around the 1-2. So McLaren
back to go into the break.
McLaren screws up their 1-2 by making Oscar and Lando fight. We get George and Lewis, spectacular drive. George drove all those laps on those tires, probably because his car was 1.5 kilos. And if you don't think that's a lot, you're right. But in the world of F1,
that's a lot.
It's a lot. You're talking about like, I think Lewis had mentioned something like, it's a huge amount of time. It's like 1/10 of a second, like per kilo. So it's like you're real quick when you could drop that kind of weight.
So they're always getting the like absolute least amount of fuel they'll need to get through to a pit stop because it's all about weight in the car.
Yeah. And then so we get a George Russell victory for a brief moment. Lewis finished second, Oscar finished third. And then George gets DQ'd. So Lewis Hamilton becomes back-to-back winners, race winner. No, he's won 2 races now this year, though.
2 out of the last 3.
2 of the last 3. And I'm glad that this wasn't the one that broke the streak because that would have been like, it would have been an empty field.
Oh, that would have been tough.
It would have been such an empty
It would have been like, the streak's broken, but he wouldn't feel like it was.
You win, but like, did you? Oscar ends up with the P2.
I was going to say, speaking of feeling empty wins, Oscar Piastri finished second place.
Charles Leclerc, who I told you that I got right for what it's worth. Charles Leclerc, top 6. I also had Max in the top 6. Actually, I think I had Charles on podium, which ended up paying off, but hilarious.
Back-to-back races without a podium for Max.
Yeah, Max started 10th. And because he took a penalty, and I think that was a smart choice. He knew that they could make it through the field. He probably didn't think that he was going to get up to 5th, which he did, and then gifted a 4th. No, he got up to 4th and then got gifted podium.
No, 5-4.
Yeah, 5-4. So he's there. He's not as hot as he was. I don't know if I like.
It's just cars catching up. I think
everybody's caught up.
Yeah.
Lando finished in the.
And now they're losing Newey.
Yeah.
Yikes.
And then Smooth Operator, the newest Williams driver.
Did I not tell you he's going to go to Williams?
I feel like the odds on that were so long. I feel like they were so long.
I figured he was just going to do the 1-year deal, though, because I thought he was going to go to Audi in 26. But he signed a 2-year deal, so now I don't know what's up with that.
Well, I think that what's up with that is security. He wants a seat, and I don't blame him. I mean,
he's far too good to not have a seat.
But, well, he is. But everybody, like, no one wanted to sign the guy because he wants to compete for that number 1 spot. Maybe Haas reached out to him, but like nobody wants to drive that
Nobody
car.
wants to do that.
And Williams has had moments where they've been quick, and people like James Knowles. As a team principal, he's like grounded and kind of got Williams pointing in the right direction for the first time in like what feels like forever. So
I wish K-Mag was staying with Haas because we had him pairing up with Nico, and we were like, oh, we're gonna get fireworks, and they're both like, nah, we're over it. Could you imagine him and Esteban though? Yeah. They'd be fighting fucking constantly. But
it'd be crazy, yeah.
Sainz at Williams I kind of think was his only option, which sucks because of how good of a driver he is, but it's gonna be temporary. I think he'll be back in a really good car pretty soon.
Yeah. We also had Checo, the Checo news.
Yep. So
I thought for sure come summer break, after all the smoke that we had been hearing about him getting replaced, and we even saw some interviews and I won't say interviews, we even saw some meetings, some confidential meetings between Danny Rick and Christian and like everybody else, where you're like,
is
this
it happening?
Is might happen. And then Red Bull goes, no, Checo stays. Even though he is awful. That guy started P2 in that race, and he finished behind the guy that started P10 in the same car. That's a problem. He should have won that race. In that car,
100%.
if Max started P2 in that race,
He
Max
wins that race.
Podium. He's podium for sure, at the very least. More likely, he's at least winning or competing to win that
with
race.
the light George Russell car.
Yes, yeah, with a 1.5 kilo less George Russell car. George gets to the way. Would you believe I took a deuce? Awful. And then we've got summer break now, so we're off for a couple of months. But this is when it turns into soap opera time, which I love. About
Alpine did some shit today too.
They hired new team principal.
Yep, Oliver Oakes, and they are, I think, set to announce that Jack Doohan is going to be taking the second seat with them.
How you feel about that?
I feel like there's probably other people that you probably could have got to do that, but I don't know. I like when new drivers come up. I like when they promote people from
give me that
F2. Yeah, I like it. But
guys.
It's also Alpine, and they're in shambles. So
also Valtteri Bottas
matter.
is a treasure, and everybody needs to appreciate him.
He's fantastic.
You need to follow him on everything. There's a whole reel he did. Did you see the reel where he tried to decide what Olympic sport he's going to do?
No, I didn't. I'm gonna have to watch it.
The favorite ad I've ever seen him do is for the Uber car share. Where,
I've seen that one,
and he's like, it's got a shower on the back of it, like a meat pie warmer. It's impressive. It's a great ad, and he is probably the funniest guy on the grid. Yeah. If he was ever winning races, F1 would never have to worry about a thing again. But he'll have to settle for comedy instead because he's a funny man. He's a funny man. Plus, he has a mullet.
Yeah,
that's just funny.
Not NASCAR, Formula One. Formula One mullet is a power move.
It is a power move for this. We took a little bit of a break from our Mount Rushmores.
Cool, Papa Bo.
I think it's time. I think it's time we get back to some Mount Rushmores. And MVT, I did see your message. I absolutely saw your message, but it was too close to show. So next week, we'll definitely take a look at best players to wear number 10.
Let's do it.
We'll definitely do it. I have no problem with that. All right. We have center field. We finally come to like some super difficult choices to make. Starting pitching is hard. Outfield is near impossible.
My center field was not as hard as I thought, to be honest. My issue is there's a ton of guys in the gray area, and there's a lot of guys that played center field for a portion of their career and then went somewhere else.
Okay.
So I can start. I'll give you number 4 on my list is Mickey Mantle.
You're going Mick. You're going all the way back, eh?
Yeah, he's on.
I stayed so modern.
That's good because all the modern guys pretty much are in my
in your
middle area except for a couple.
My 4 is Andre Dawson.
Really?
Yeah.
He's pretty low on mine, to be honest. He's really, really fucking good, obviously.
He's got almost 3,000 career hits.
I know. I think he's 8. He's 8 on mine right here.
He's got a 64 WAR. There's 5 guys with a higher WAR in center field than this guy.
He's 8. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's your list.
Yeah. All right, who you got at 3?
Mike Trout.
At 3.
He doesn't win anything, but he's just he's God's chosen baseball player. The guy's a fucking unit. If he could be healthy all the time and not be on the Angels, we would talk about him like no other.
My 3 is Andrew Jones.
Andrew Jones is my 5.
Andrew Jones he was unbelievable. 5-time All-Star, 10-time Gold Glove, Silver Slugger winner, and just so much fun to watch. He was
Actually tied. He's tied at 5.
He was absolutely deadly. I don't have Trout in my Trout's 5 for me.
Okay.
And not be and simply from the winning. Yeah. See, I'm with Tao here. I think that the guy is the most talented baseball player.
That's why he had to be on my list.
And I think that it's important to mention that he is there, but he hasn't won shit.
I understand the knock, and I will not fault you wherever you put him.
I feel like he's there. I still feel like you have to give him the old tip of the cap, but yeah, he's not there for me. All right, give me your 2.
Willie Mays.
I mean, I have no argument there.
You can't.
Why would I? I have no arguments at all for it.
The only argument you should have is that he could be 1. That's it.
Of course, he could be a 1.
He probably should be 1, but personal preference.
2 is a guy that I think you would appreciate. It's Kenny Lofton.
Okay. I love Kenny Lofton. He's great. Yeah.
Kenny Lofton, 6-time All-Star, 4-time Gold Glove, 20.
He's behind Dawson.
2,400 something career hits, 622 stolen bases. Man stole the bag. He was fast, and I appreciated watching him. And he's not in the Hall of Fame, but he should be. He should be in the Hall of Fame.
He fit in Cleveland too.
He was so good. He was so good.
Those teams were also disgusting.
Yeah. All right. Who do you got at 1?
Junior.
It's got to be Griffey.
The man himself. Ken Griffey Jr. It has to be.
Yeah, if it's not Griffey, we're not talking about it anymore.
Yeah, exactly. There was never a dude on this one. I still remember his game for the 64. Every time he hit a home run, this fucking absolute bop would play. Oh my god! What a game too! You could do you did a fantasy draft. You could do a whole new team, but you had to play every single game. You had to do 162 games.
Couple of honorable mentions for me: Kirby Puckett, absolute legend. I'm gonna say it, but you're gonna laugh at me. Dion White. Not Sanders.
For the Jays.
Yeah, he was just like, God, he was so good. He was so good.
I have Beltran.
Beltran's up there. For like 2 seasons, Josh Hamilton.
For like 2 seasons. If Mookie stayed in center and didn't play everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Grandy. Curtis Granderson was excellent.
I don't know if he's top. Like, I don't think he's a top 10 guy, though. I think he's top 20.
He's definitely top 20.
Definitely top 20.
What about?
I'll give you that.
What about Torrey or Bernie?
Torrey Hunter was number 10 on my list.
I like that.
I had Griffey, Trout, Mays, Mantle, Jones, Cobb, Dawson, Beltran.
Look, if we're just going, yeah, and I didn't mention Tris Speaker either.
Oh,
or
yeah,
Billy Hamilton or Tommy Leach or Jimmy Ryan.
No, those.
I've never seen their highlights. I don't like
not one time, and they played against plumbers.
So I'll put it out there.
Ty
Cobb has
a 366 career batting average.
Batting titles. I like Andrew McCutchen.
Oh, fucking body bag, Tal. Why do we have to do Kutch like that?
First of all, not letting losers in. We're not letting losers in. I didn't put Trout in there.
He's mad about Trout. He's mad I put Trout in there. It's all right. I can live with it.
We like Ty Cobb. I like Ty Cobb. I've seen exactly 0 of his games. I've seen some highlights of it, but same thing with Willie Mays.
You hit like shit.
I appreciate all of them. I always do this rule whenever I'm making a Mount Rushmore. If I haven't seen their highlights or watched them play, I don't feel it's fair for me to judge it. I can respect them as players and their place in the pantheon of baseball annals, but I am certainly not putting him on my Mount Rushmore.
The only time I bring them up is if I think they would be a fantastic player in any era. And the only two I could see here were Mantle and
I did, but Tao, I didn't put Babe Ruth on my Mount Rushmore. That's the deal. I know he was great. I know Cobb was great too.
Spikes up.
I totally know Cobb was great. I know they are. I know they're both incredible players, and Babe was eating 40 hot dogs and taking a bunch of uppers before he played the games and then drinking some beers in the dugout. Still hit, all those homers.
Ty Cobb's Mai Tai themed or baseball themed Mai Tai bar.
Yes. Center field it's different. Willie Mays was amazing. Mickey Mantle, Joe DiMaggio, like you said, cool Papa Bell.
Smoking like a gym.
Why don't we have Turkey Stearns in there? Why don't we have,
Turkey Stearns?
You know what I mean? Like, there's guys that were incredible, but it's really hard. Let's just toss Grady Sizemore in there. Let's just
Grady was on pace to be better than Bonds. You seen that video on YouTube? I forget who the fuck that was by.
It's probably Secret Base, whatever those guys.
Yeah, I think so. It was them or like baseball doesn't exist or something.
Yeah. All right, we're nearing the end of the show, which means only one thing. It's time for Stone Stories.
This one's sort of an open shut case, but it was Florida. I was like, I actually am not sure if this one was Florida. It was. Of course it was.
Florida.
It was Florida.
It's either Florida or Ohio, or Florida, Ohio.
Miami, Ohio.
Yeah, Miami, Ohio.
Just before 11:30 a.m., Lauren Riley was spotted in her vehicle, albeit not at the wheel, without a seatbelt and rummaging around the passenger floorboard, the affidavit said. The trooper pulled the driver over and noticed a small, used, and burnt piece of tinfoil and a plastic straw in the car. That could only mean one thing, Armchair. One answer on the board. Additionally, the driver said Riley was under the influence of alcohol. Shocker. The driver was arrested for having an open container, according to Florida Highway Patrol. Riley was also asked to get out of the car as Florida Highway Patrol conducted a probable cause search, the arrest report said. A bag labeled bag of drugs. A clear plastic bag labeled bag of drugs was reportedly found inside Riley's purse. Would you like to know what was inside the bag of drugs?
God, I hope it's drugs. I hope it's drugs.
A metal spoon, 4 glass pipes with residue, plastic baggies with white residue, a full loaded ready-to-go needle, 2 straws, 3.25 grams of cocaine, 1.75 grams of crack cocaine, 1 gram of crystal meth, 1.5 pills of hydromorphone, 2 pills of amphetamine, 4.5 pills of alprazolam, which I don't know what that is, but she was taken into custody. Obviously, she had enough drugs to get Charlie Sheen excited. She has been released from the Pinellas County Jail. Must have been on pretty decent bail, if I had to guess.
That's a go bag. People are like, let's get.
That's the to-go bag. This is my bag of drugs.
Everybody get your go bag. We got to go. Then that's what'd you get? I got my bag of drugs.
It's just I imagine it's just a gallon Ziploc with Sharpie written on the side. Literally.
It's the Acme bag of drugs.
The cop definitely pulled it out and went, "Oh, that was incredibly easy. Yeah, I'm going to need you to get in the back of the car."
This feels like, what do they call them? Clues.
You got anything that's going to poke, prod, stick me, or is it all in the bag?
It's a little bit of, I believe they call that evidence.
They sure do.
What was in your bag? It's clearly labeled bag of drugs.
Take a guess, officer.
You want to have a guess?
Could you imagine they're reading it in court? They're just like, she was arrested. Evidence A, and they show it on the fucking screen. It's just bag of drugs.
Just the bag of drugs.
And then it's 15 slides of different drugs that they found in said bag of drugs.
Too funny.
Holy shit, dude.
Listen, don't do crimes, ladies and gentlemen.
Las Vegas goodie bag.
Yeah, absolutely. It is an open and shut case. Don't forget this week, the Dream Team, Living the Dream on the tour. heading down to Canton with their Dales, and they're ready to go. They're all wrapped up in their truck.
Let's go.
So make sure you support them whenever you see them going live. Drop in, give them their likes, share them out. So happy for the fellas getting to do this. Maybe the Dubs and AC living the dream tour.
Let's fucking do it.
We just go.
Where are we going?
Duncan.
I've always been America runs on Duncan.
We just go to Duncan.
We just Duncan mobile.
We're gonna hit every Duncan in the Northeast.
This one tastes more like plastic.
I think we'll figure something out. We'll hit some MLB stadiums.
Although
maybe.
I think one of the Duncans near me, not the one I go to mainly all the time, but the one in my town is like one of the worst Duncans of all fucking time. They never have anything you want. They're horrible, and they burned down for they were out of commission for 3 years.
We need to go down for some Baltimore Oriole playoff baseball because they're.
I've always wanted to go to Camden.
Yeah, I think we need some. I need some crab cakes and I need some Camden.
I've never had a crab cake.
Shit's delicious. It's better in Baltimore though. So.
Shit's delicious.
It's delicious. It's a little bit of action Bronson there. So
A1 premium. Accidental Bronson is one of my favorite things on the planet. That Twitter account's so fucking good.
Yeah, it's amazing. For Dubs, I'm Armchair. Don't forget to check out the newsletter. We will see you next week here on the Ocho live. Send it in. Follow us on the socials. Follow Dubs on the Twitch. Man's going live playing the games.
Oh yeah, we did a stream last night. It's only like an hour long. Pretty good shit. We just posted a clip on the Instagram, which is Stone Sports Podcast.
Give them a follow. Peace.